Go, baby! Today the Vikings play. Super excited. As you can see, I'm a Vikings fan. I grew up in Minnesota. As you can see, I got my ghetto purple light back here just to make it a little more fitting. Anyways, thank you guys for the support the last few days. I've had a great weekend of making videos. This channel's doing great. I'm super excited. I love what I do. This is great. It's fun. I like sharing the information and I get to learn as well along the way. So it's been a great process so far. We're going to keep on chugging with the 9 to 5 Trader channel. So today we're going to talk about ElectraMeccanica, which is essentially an EV company in Canada. Their ticker symbol is SOLO, S-O-L-O. I'm going to dive a little bit more into it. So before I get started, I always ask that you smash that like button. Comment below if I missed anything, because I know I missed something. Again, when I was going through my due diligence with this company, I couldn't find a whole lot of information. So please help me out. Please let me know below in those comments. Also, subscribe to the 9 to 5 Trader channel. What you get is weekly uploads to relevant stocks, market news, and things of all sorts. So I encourage you to subscribe and turn on that notification bell. So ElectraMeccanica, like I said, they are a Canadian EV company. They were founded in 2015 and their flagship car is the Solo EV. So I'll talk a little bit more about that car, but first let's talk a little bit more about the company and then we'll dive into those details. So this company is currently not really earning anything. I'm trying to find more information about that. I've learned they haven't earned a whole lot. And according to the S&P, they've only really had about $1 million in business in the last year, which is pretty minor to me. But, you know, again, that could be really anything. I could take that with a grain of salt because, you know, some of these Chinese EV companies, such as NIO and things like that, they kind of started that way, a little bit slower. And a lot of it was just because they had, you know, a lot of front-end cash flow into R&D and all sorts of things. So I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. It's just something I want to note. Now, one disclosure I want to make about this company, especially if you're an investor, a lot of investors, they're really investing into the hope, the probability, the speculation, the potential that this company has, right? The books are just kind of lack thereof. There's not a whole lot of information about them. So a lot of people, they're typically investing for the future of this company. So recently they had their earnings on September 30th. And with these earnings, it was okay, right? They beat revenue and they beat their EPS estimate. So this is okay. This is at least progression. But I'm just going to take all that with a grain of salt because, again, they really haven't generated any crazy amounts of profit or have done a whole lot of business as well. So I just want to keep all that in mind. They have about $500 million in market cap, which isn't too bad. And again, they're known more for their flagship Solo EV car. So let's talk about the Solo EV. This is actually a pretty cool car. I want to talk about it a little bit. I want to talk about the upside and the downside and all those good things like that. So let's dive into it. So the Solo EV, it's a single-seater, 3-wheel EV car, and it's for commutes. It gets a 100-mile range, has a top speed of 80 miles per hour. It goes 0 to 60 in 10 seconds, and it retails for about $18,500 US. Now, my personal opinion on this vehicle, it's really cool. I like it. It's sweet. I can see where it'd be useful. Now, let's talk about practicality in the whole consumer market of this. The thing about it is, I don't know how practical this is. I kind of like to relate this to the Polaris slingshot. If you guys have ever seen those on the roads, right? They're cool. A few people have them, but like, really, what am I going to do with this thing? So I can see where it'd be useful, but I don't know if a whole lot of families have, you know, quick 20K to throw around. Then on top of that, it only has a 100-mile range. Now, I personally have an EV vehicle, and let me tell you something, 100 miles is not a lot, right? You got to think about there and back, and then you have a lingering battery dying over time and things like that. I also looked on their website, and it takes about 3 hours to charge, so keep all that in mind. So yeah, maybe it's nice to go grab groceries Sunday morning or some shit, but I don't know. Practicality is something I will challenge, and that's my concern about even looking into investing into this stock for the long term. So I'm gonna keep all that in mind. Again, everyone has their own personal opinion. That's just my opinion, right? You don't have to listen to what I'm saying. I'm not an expert. I'm none of that stuff. I'm not a guru. That's just my opinion. Now, with this car, they are working on a utility and fleet version of this, and they're projecting it'll be to market around early of next year, 2021. So we'll see what comes with that. Hopefully it's something a little more practical instead of just like a little speed vehicle, a little speed bike to get me around town. So I'm done making fun of it. It actually is pretty cool. It's great ingenuity. I'm glad somebody's doing something like this because it's bound to come, right? I mean, some of these companies are just working on little things. I know Tesla, they're working on like a 4-wheeler. Nikola, which that company's dead as hell, but they were working on a jet ski, you know, things like that. So it's cool to see it. It really is. Now, what I'm going to do for you guys, I'm going to finish off this video by jumping into my screen here like I always do. We're going to do a quick technical analysis. Again, I'm just going to give you my opinion, look at some technicality behind this, what do I think could happen next, things like that, some strategies for jumping into this stock. Now, again, I don't want to try to exercise too much bias with this video in terms of like investing, right? I know I'm coming off as more pessimistic with this stock. Everyone has their own opinion, right? And the thing is, I'm more conservative, and I'm just looking out for you guys, and that's all it is. I mean, some people have strong beliefs in this company, and I hope you prove me wrong. I hope you add more comments down that section so you can provide more information that I might have missed. One thing I tried looking for was their backlog, and I did not see a whole lot of information about that. I saw articles from 2 years ago talking about like $2.4 billion in backlog, but nothing since. Like if I do a quick Google search on solo backlog, there's not a whole lot there. So I don't know where that came from. Maybe I'm missing details. Again, please let me know below. I don't want to downplay this company entirely. I'm just being realistic and conservative here. So take what I say with a grain of salt. I encourage you guys to have strong beliefs and have your own belief system, and hopefully you do well. Hopefully you prove me wrong. Hopefully you're messaging back in a week or a month and saying, hey man, you were wrong. I made tons of money. And that's great. That's all I want. So again, let's jump into the technical analysis. Let's go through this real quick. Then I'll give you guys my final thoughts on this company. So right here, we have Solo, ticker symbol SOLO. Again, there's our earnings report on September 30th. Not too bad. They were fairly positive, but, again, was this the catalyst as to why it shot up? Who knows? Let's take a look, though. Let's take a further look in. So I'm going to hone in more on the recent term just because this stock has been fairly flatlined throughout the duration of its period. Now, you can see I previously set an alert here. Now, I made an EV market video the other day. And the reason I set my alert there is because I was, thinking it might find, somewhat of a support or resistance level around here. So I'm just going to draw that in really quick here, and then we're going to zoom in. So let's take a look at the 5-day, 5-minute chart. So this is Solo for the last week. As you can see, it's been generally appreciating and now starting to consolidate a little bit more and experience a severe pullback. So with this, I'm not feeling too confident. I'm seeing generally a support level about here and somewhat of a resistance up here. I'm taking the higher highs of 791 with a grain of salt because that was obviously just, a lot of speculation, a lot of huge pump up. Look at the volume numbers here with the blue bars. Here's my thoughts on this stock. So right now, it's a little unclear what direction is. Yes, it's generally been appreciating, but now that it's starting to consolidate, I'd argue that it's starting to be tested now. Doesn't mean it can't shoot up again. Doesn't mean it can't go down again, but we got to take all this with a grain of salt. Keep all this stuff in mind before investing your hard-earned money. Now, my final thoughts on this company, again, I kind of shared with you guys the practicality of their products. Now, maybe that gets better over time. Who knows? But in my opinion, I'm just going to hang on a little bit tighter, see what the stock does a little bit more, see what the company does a little bit more. A lot of these other EV companies, they've sold me a little more, right? They have products. They have a lot of good delivery numbers. They're consistent. They're getting better. So something to think about. So like this video if it helped you out. Comment below if I missed anything. I know I did. So let me know below in those comments, and let me know what you're thinking about Solo as well. Also, feel free to subscribe to the 9 to 5 Trader channel. We have now 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Super exciting, and hopefully we continue to grow. Good luck to you guys. Hopefully you learned something new today, and happy trading.